Hello, one and all. Welcome back to another edition of the AGPC, Average Guy's Guide to Life podcast. You know who I am. You know what this is. You beautiful, beautiful bitch. How is it going? I know you're doing good. If you're listening to this, you're doing better than you were. Remember to share and subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. I'll give you a word to comment later on when I am done discussing what it is I have to discuss with you. And we could start a conversation. We could share words with one another. And what I'm going to discuss today is probably going to be controversial. It's going to be very different from anything that I have discussed in the past, I think. Kind of different. Because I'm not sure if I make myself very clear on where I stand politically. And I try to do that because I know that in today's political climate, we are very divisive with one another. And no matter if you're on one side or another side, you're instantly going to have 50% of the population hate you. Even if you don't pick a side, then you got both sides hating you. So I'm not sure I've discussed in depth what my political leanings are. And how I consume news is another thing that I don't discuss. I don't discuss many current topics because if you discuss anything in the news today, you have to pick a side. And depending on what side you pick, you're going to piss off 50% of the people. So I really don't discuss many divisive news topics as far as politics are concerned, because it seems like politics has become so ingrained, I guess, in our society more than it ever has been. So I'm going to clear some things up and I'm going to call some motherfuckers out and I'm going to open some eyes. Because I'm pretty sure I've said on here more than once that I don't have a side. I don't give a fuck. I think I said on here before that I did vote. And someone told me that not voting was the worst thing that I could do in life. And I said, hey, what about murder? What if I killed your child? What if I threw you in front of a moving train? Like, there's plenty of things that I could do that's worse than not voting. Of course, they were overstating. But if you overstate with me, I'm going to take that shit literally. Okay? I think I've said that before. And I'm not a traditional moderate, whereas, I just don't care. But I mean, yeah, I don't give a fuck. That's a part of it. But most moderates, they just stay away from stuff and live their lives the way that, they want to live it, the best that they can. Me, I actually pay attention to it, both sides. I just don't mention it. I listen to a lot of takes. I listen to a lot of opinions from the right and the left. I listen to a lot of programming from the right and the left. And I think both sides have great points sometimes. And I think both sides are pretty fucking dumb at some points. So that's why I'm a moderate. Because one side or another, they haven't persuaded me that their way is the right way. Their political leanings are what I should be leaning as well. So that's what type of moderate I am. And one of the programs that I actually follow, and this is where it's going to get divisive. One of the programs that I listen to is Steven Crowder. And anyone who knows Steven Crowder, he is an open right-winger. I don't think he's alt-right at all. I think he's a traditionalist, a traditional Republican, I guess. He has a program. He's an open Trump supporter. He's not like a Ben Shapiro, who's also a right-winger, who I listen to. He's not like Ben Shapiro, where Ben just spits out like a fucking semi-automatic weapon at 100 miles an hour. He's just talking and he covers a lot of facts, and he doesn't sprinkle in a lot of his own personal opinions. He does, but he mostly covers the facts, and his tagline is "Facts don't care about your feelings." Steven Crowder is more of a he picks and chooses which facts he's going to cover that makes his narrative sound better as far as his right-wing narrative. And some of that is accurate, and a lot of it is his opinion about things. And he's open about stating that a lot of the stuff that he's talking about is his opinion, his political opinion, right? But it's not that I have a problem with, because everyone is allowed to have their opinion. I mean, you can't say that, because if you speak your real opinion nowadays, people want to fucking kill you. They want to cancel you. They don't want you to earn any money. They don't want you to be able to feed your children or feed yourself. They want you to go away if you have an opinion. Go away. We don't have time for you. That is the left's perspective for a lot of this. The left is kind of strongholding, or they're trying to strong arm everyone's belief into one big ball of beliefs that has mostly to do with their narrative on things. You need to believe what we believe, or else you're canceled. Okay? You need to allow biological men to compete in sports with biological women, beat the fuck out of them, and claim that they're still a woman. And if you don't agree with that, your opinion doesn't matter. That's one of the things I think the left definitely is wrong about. Going to get into that a little later. But they're also right about a lot of stuff too, as far as, basic human rights of things. I don't think equality of outcome is realistic, but equality of opportunity is something that I could definitely get behind. But back to Crowder, right? So his political show is formatted to be a comedy show. He's a right-wing political comedy show. And it's similar to how John Oliver does his show. Similar only in genre. Their format is different. The way that they deliver their content is different. But it's pretty much the same thing. They give you their political facts that's going to make their narrative look better, and they sprinkle in some jokes. Back in the day, John Oliver used to be funny. I used to watch his show for the political commentary and the humor. I mean, after Trump was elected, he just kind of got dry. It's like he ran out of funny shit to say. He wasn't really being creative anymore. It's like every fucking Sunday you could just tune in to see what else he has to say about Trump. And that shit gets old. It's like, okay, how many times are you going to call him an orange person? Like, we get it. He has an unnatural skin color. We get it. Can you cover some facts here? Can you cover anything else besides Trump? So he used to be funny. Now he just turned kind of douchey, and he became part of that left-wing machine that if you don't think like me, you don't have my opinion, then you're bad and you're a racist. Look at me, bitch. I'm black. I'm black. I don't agree with you. Am I a racist? Am I a racist? Am I a racist apologist? No. I just think you used to be funny and now not so much. You beat a dead horse. The horse was dead. The horse was dead for 3 years and you were still beating the fucking horse. The horse was decomposing. It had flies around it. Why are you still beating this horse? You need to be inside a mental institution, sir. I mean, what the fuck? The meat isn't even salvageable anymore. You can't even use the meat on the horse anymore. And he's still sitting there beating it with his repetitive fucking opinions. Anyway, sorry for segueing. I told you this is going to be like nothing else I've done. And I think I have a lot of things bottled up about these topics. So Crowder, he has a right-wing comedy show. So the format of his show is what I have a problem with. And the way that he delivers his quote unquote humor is what I have a problem with, because he's not funny. Now, John Oliver used to be funny. He had a team of writers that wrote his jokes. Steven Crowder, it doesn't seem like he has a team of writers. He just says things in a way that he thinks are funny. He doesn't write out things beforehand. I don't either. But he doesn't write out things beforehand. He just kind of improvise on the fly, and his formula is what isn't funny. Maybe he needs writers, but let me give you an example. Whenever he's talking about someone, he can't talk about a person without mentioning their race. And when he mentions their race, he does it in a stereotypical way. So for Black History Month, they have this segment where they were appreciating, I guess, or acknowledging some part of Black history. And of course, it was meant to be a joke. But if you're a Black person watching this, you're like, this is fucking offensive. And I guess it's supposed to be offensive. But there's a difference between being offensive and funny, and being offensive and not very funny at all. Because now you're just doing the stereotypical yo, 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 you know, where my 40 ounce and my hot sauce at kind of thing. It's like, that's not funny. It hasn't been funny since maybe the early 80s. I don't even think it was funny then when people did that dumb shit. He just does voices. He does these fucking stereotypical ethnic voices, and he thinks this is supposed to be comedy. This is comedy to him. So if he's talking about someone who's Asian, he's like, oh no, do not eat my rat. And he like fucking slants his eyes and shit. Well, maybe he doesn't slant his eyes, but he does the voices of different races and ethnic people. And that's supposed to be comedy. And the thing is, if you were to take away the second part of his show, which is his crew, if you were to take away his crew that are basically paid to laugh, he pays his crew to laugh on cue to make his racially insensitive jokes seem funny when they're not. They're not funny. He's not a funny person. He's supposed to be a stand-up comedian. But I don't think there was one thing he's ever said that made me genuinely laugh, because he can't make a joke without the expense of another racial group. That's the problem. That's the problem. Some of his content is intriguing, but I think he needs to redo his comedy format because it's dated. It's dated, it's insensitive, it's offensive, and it's just not fucking funny. You're not a funny person, okay? I don't care how many times you try to put on a racial voice, say, yo, 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 bring me some hot sauce, or talk about Mexicans eating tacos. It's like, you don't have anything other than that? Is that it? Okay. You have a child's sense of humor, a child from the 80s at that. Fucking, or late 70s. You have the sense of humor of a child from the late 70s. Maybe that's when he was born. I don't know. And another thing that I think is the problem with the format of his show is the cast that he basically hired to laugh at his not funny jokes, the way that he describes them. He has a lawyer, Bill Richmond, I think is his name, and he can't introduce his lawyer without saying that he's half Asian. Why does that fucking matter? Is that also supposed to be a part of the humor? I don't get it. He has another person on there, quarter black Garrett. Garrett is a white man. Okay, he's a fucking white dude. But he can't introduce this person without saying that he's quarter black Garrett. Is that supposed to be another part of the humor? It's not fucking funny. Okay? Stop it. Just stop. Stick with the fucking news. The news, like, you know, they passed Equality Act where now you can, if you're a dude, you can say that you identify as a woman and just go inside the women's locker room. Yeah, with your big swinging dick, walk in there into the women's locker room and say, no, don't worry. I'm a girl. Now the person that told me that voting is the worst thing that I could, not voting is the worst thing that I could possibly do in my life. Now the person who told me this, now how do you feel? How's that looking for you right now? Because now I am going to go into your bathroom. I'm going to go in there and say I'm a woman. This is what they feared, by the way. They feared that this would happen. They said, yeah, I'm going to vote for Biden, but, I just hope he doesn't do that weird transgender stuff where he just allows dudes into the locker room. I'm like, well, of course he is. Of course he is. That's a part of their agenda. They have either you're all in or you're all out. And for them, equality means you could do whatever the fuck you want. You could be whatever the fuck you want. You can't pick and choose, not with them. You have to be all in with all of their opinions. If you wake up one day and say, hey, I'm a fucking Beatle, and I don't mean like Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney. I mean, I am a literal beetle. I'm an insect. You can do that. Fuck. You can do whatever you want. I'm a bug. Bitch. I don't even know what sound a beetle makes. But yeah, you could just wake up one day. Wake up and say, hey, I'm Rick. I'm Rick from Rick and Morty. Okay? You could do that. It's insane. It's insane. But I don't want to rag on the lefties too much because, they have good intentions. It's just chill. Just chill. Relax. And the people on the right, they need to relax too. It's okay to acknowledge that some of the people that associate themselves with your political leanings, some of them may be a little bit racist. Yeah. And when you're a person like Steven Crowder and you have this late 1970s 5-year-old sense of humor where all you're doing is imitating the ethnic slur or slang that you think you're doing, all you're doing is feeding into these people that are a part of your, political affiliation. You're feeding into them and you're making them laugh. You're making the racist laugh. Is that what you want to do? Maybe it is. I haven't thought about that. I haven't thought about that at all. Because when you're basically trying to poke fun at a racial group and you're using the most cliche and stereotypical things and you're saying, hey, give me some fucking hot sauce or whatever the fuck, or talking about fucking slang words used from 20 years ago like badonkadonk or some shit, and talking about fat asses and all that, and just being super stereotypical, maybe you are just, that makes sense. So undercover, you're low-key trying to feed into that racial demographic that just don't like niggas. I get it. Do your thing. I mean, I potentially won't watch it anymore because, I like the political commentary. I like to hear it from both sides. So maybe I'll just stick to Ben Shapiro since he doesn't have those sorts of antics. Either way, I don't know. I know a lot of people, this is going to turn a lot of people off. They don't like to talk politics. Remember what I said at the beginning of this. I am a true moderate. I listen to both sides. I understand both sides. I understand what they're trying to do, what their good intentions are, what their flaws are. I understand it. I just think it's all fucking stupid. It's stupid. Our fucking political system is old. It's the first one. It's the first draft. How in the fuck did we just stick to the first draft of what these old ass white dudes started off from years ago? Like, they got a lot of it right. Like free speech, I'm allowed to do this right here. I'm allowed to just talk shit about people I've never seen in my life. I'm just allowed to talk about them. I'm allowed to talk about people based on how they look, what they believe in, up to a certain point. I can't slur them. I can't threaten them, but I could just sit here and say, hey, Steven Crowder isn't fucking funny. Have never met the man outside of what his content is, but according to the content that he creates, he's not a funny person. I can sit here and say that. They got that right. George Washington, all you old motherfuckers that own slaves, good job. You got that one right. Freedom of speech. Of course, I want to own a gun. If anybody want to come up in here and try some shit, I want the freedom to fucking blow their fucking cap off. Of course, I want to do that too. So they got that one right. But most of the shit, we can revise. We can revise. And the stuff that they're trying to do now with all this wacky, you can be anything you want to be shit, we need to slow down on that too. Because if somebody, by all means, we are all fucking evolved monkeys in these flesh suits traveling through space at tremendous speeds. We are so insignificant. Everyone's life experience and human experience They should do whatever makes them happy. I get it. I get it. But if you wake up one day and you say, hey, I'm a fucking street post, you know, and you just decide one day, you know, I'm a fucking mole rat. You can't do these things. You can't be a 58-year-old man and all of a sudden decide that you're a fucking 8-year-old girl. You can't do these things. I've said it so many times. This is not science. This is not how life works. But at the end of the day, do whatever makes you happy. But unless you're one of those strange motherfuckers that want me to call you something that, I mean, if you want to be if you're a man and you feel like you want to be a woman, do your thing. If you're a woman, you feel like you want to be a man, do your thing. I think we do need to have a separate category for those people. I do think we need to have a separate bathroom for those type of people. Not for me. I don't give a shit. If you're a fucking lady and you want to come up in here and pee in the men's bathroom, or, you know, come in the locker room with your tits taped down, you know, by all means, do your thing. I am not offended by it. But most women, if you were to ask them, would you be offended by some hairy-chested bear of a man walking to your fucking bathroom or locker room with his big swinging balls? Would you be offended by that? Although they identify as a woman, I think most women would say, yes, this is troubling to me. So we need to fucking figure that out. They need to have their own space. Just like men and women, we have our own space. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's fucking divisive. Maybe I said too much already. It's weird. But yeah, fucking Steven Crowder isn't funny. Okay? You need joke writers, sir. You need people to write your joke like John Oliver used to back when he was funny. And it's just, come on. Come on. Yes, I enjoy fucking hot sauce. Yes. But is it because I'm black? No. I know this white guy who claims he's Hispanic, but he's white. He just knows Spanish very well. He speaks Spanish, but he's a white dude. He loves hot sauce too. He has more hot sauce than I have. But he's white. He's not Spanish. Okay? Of course, Mexican people love tacos. But that's the food of their culture. What the fuck do white people love? Casseroles? Well, you don't see us out here saying, let me get one of those casseroles, sir. Like, that's not funny. Maybe it's a little funny. But it's not funny if I imitate a quote-unquote white person's voice and talk about casseroles and investing in Bitcoin and shit. Okay? Give it up. Stick to the news. Voter fraud or whatever the fuck you do. Anyway, that'll be the podcast. Comment down below, I don't know, hot sauce. That's a good one. Either comment hot sauce or comment your favorite brand of hot sauce. Yeah. I think right now I'm back on the Louisiana kick. This is going to make me sound even more like a nigga. It's going to renege everything that I just said previous to this. But I love me some hot sauce. Like, Hot Ones is one of the channels that I follow on YouTube, and I like some of their interviews. And every time I watch it, it makes me want to eat fucking wings. I got some in the fucking fridge as we speak. But every time I watch that show, it makes me want to just buy different hot sauces and try it. But now I'm back on the traditional Louisiana hot sauce kick. I know for a lot of people it's a little too salty, but, you know, just a little bit. Just use a little bit. I know we have some Frank's people out here. I know we have, you know, what's that other one? Tabasco. People love that shit. But I like really spicy hot sauce too, so I have a bottle of Insanity in there. I'm going to end up eventually buying some of the Hot Ones hot sauces too. But anyway, if you're currently watching this, either comment hot sauce or comment down below what your favorite hot sauce is. I'll be back. Bye.